thankfully, the Phoenix Suns blessed us by getting majority of their moves done within the first hour and a half of free agency. We love them for that. So on Friday, we knew that they had brought back Josh Okogie and Damian Lee. They had signed Keita Bates-Diop, Yudo Watanabe, Chimezie Metu, and Drew Eubanks. Then on Sunday, finally, after many, many years of talking about it, we got ourselves an Eric Gordon. So let's start off by talking about him. Obviously, a really good get for the Phoenix Suns, especially considering the initial report of him signing with the Suns said that he had considered multiple contenders, including more lucrative deals, before deciding to come to Phoenix. That's big.
I think one of them was including the Golden State Warriors as well. And the difference, which I think was the difference with multiple of these guys, is that there was that second year player option that some of these guys preferred to some of the 1 year offers they were getting. Look, I'm glad that Eric Gordon is reunited with his heart. I'm glad Eric Gordon gets to be here. He's not quite a cornerstone, but I'll take him at this point. I think he'll add a lot. He still can shoot the rock, and that's what they need him to do.
He does. He shot 42% from three with the Clippers last year after the Rockets mercifully got him out of whatever they were doing last season. So he played a vital role on a playoff team. Obviously, the Suns knocked him out in 5 games, but he was a contributor, and I think on a team like this, he'll get to really shine without having to do quite as much. He's a guy that, shoots really well from three, but he also spaces the floor more than your typical three-point shooter because of how far he's willing to launch from. Like, I think his average three-point range was 27 feet away from the basket, which was the 4th highest figure in the NBA. So you have to account for him a couple of feet behind the line or he will fire away from there. So that's something that just adds to what the Suns have been doing all offseason. We talked heading in, they need shooting, they need length, they need defense. And Gordon, he's only 6'3", but he has a 6'9" wingspan, and he is a committed defender. So I think this is a pickup that can help you on both ends of the court coming off the bench.
Gordon actually has the most three-pointers from 30 feet or further away in NBA history.
Yeah.
You would think it was Steph or somebody like that. No, it's Eric Gordon. So.
Well, these two took all the bullet points, so I'm good. I don't have anything to say. I literally had a couple nuggets that they each said. So, listen, I think the biggest thing, too, obviously the ball handling is going to play a factor because they don't have a traditional point guard on this roster unless you are going to count Cam Payne. But, I'm just going to keep going back to this. Like, we got to get out of that mindset that, this is a traditional offense and this is the traditional NBA. Like, I'm sorry, you're not playing against plumbers and firemen anymore. This is like there's a lot of versatility in the NBA. And I think the Suns are going to be fine. And Eric Gordon is such a perfect piece for this team coming off the bench. If you want to give a guy a break, a game, KD's going to take a couple games off this year. That's going to happen. Devin Booker possibly, Bradley Beal, or God forbid injury. I think Aaron Gordon is as good of an option as you can have off the bench to supplant Beal or Booker in any way. And I think that's fantastic. And I think what I love about this the most is that this franchise looked at the roster and what it was and the inefficiencies that it really had, or the deficiencies it had, and they tried to shore them up, but they also tried to shore them up in a way that made sense for who they had already on the roster, mainly the big three. And so I'm very, very excited about what the Suns have done. I think each piece complements another in such a way that I wish the season started tomorrow. I want to see this. I want to see how this is all going to look.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody is at that point now since the Suns wasted no time with free agency and filling out the rest of their roster. I think that made everyone a little bit more anxious for the season to get here. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of time. We're going to have to wait to see this all come together, but we'll get at least a little bit of Suns basketball. We'll scratch that itch a little bit with Summer League. That's just around the corner.
Yeah, barely.
Are you guys concerned at all about Eric Gordon's age? He'll be 35 in December. Any concern whatsoever?
He's 3 years younger than the guy that started at point guard last year. So.
Bingo.
I'm just asking the question.
And also, listen, man, when you get older, you get that old man strength. You can still launch it. You can still launch it from 50. So it's all good. That's all he needs to do. He just needs to stand by the hash mark and be ready. That's it. As long as he's got that distance.
I think Eddie
playing
Johnson could shoot with this team, even at his age. Like, you're going to have that many wide open looks with this group. So.
Yeah, he can. That's the good thing about him. He can play on or off the ball because he was a good shooter, 92nd percentile in spot up points per possession, but also really good on the ball. He was 93rd in ISO points per possession, the 93rd percentile. So this is a guy that, like Saul was saying, it's a versatile, free-flowing kind of offense that we're expecting without really designated positions. And if you have multiple ball handlers, multiple shooters, you're going to do really well. And I think the Suns have done a really nice job of adding to their three-point attack. If we want to go through real quick, Damian Lee, 51% from the corners last year. Yuta, 51% from the corners. Eric Gordon, 45%. Bradley Beal, 39%. Keita Bates-Diop, 37%. Booker, 37%. And Durant was insane, 56% from the corners. So these are all guys that you can put in any spot on the floor, put them in the corner, put them on the ball, put them on the wing, and they'll be able to spread the floor. That's huge.
But
Look at
what's so awesome, what's so like beneficial though, is that Monty is gone, so you know the offense isn't just going to be Devin Booker at the top and then everybody else in the corner.
Oh boy!
Guess what? The Suns have no bench or no depth, though, Gerald. This team got no chance. This was a D off season.
That's wild.
You know, like
that was a wild opinion. There.
Maybe not. Who knows? Colin, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate you. Colin said, Eric Mother effing Gordon.
That's right.
Time to be alive.
actually his middle name.
That's what it's going to say on his jersey.